The moment you stop needing their approval. What if the reason you feel powerless has nothing to do with your circumstances, and everything to do with how much you need other people to approve of you? Think about it. How many decisions have you changed because you were afraid of what someone might think? How many times have you stayed silent when you wanted to speak? How often have you posted something, achieved something, bought something, or even dressed a certain way because you wanted someone else to notice? And here is the uncomfortable truth. The moment you start living for approval, you give other people control over your peace. Stoicism teaches something radically different. You become powerful when you stop seeking approval, not because you stop caring about people, not because you become cold, arrogant, or indifferent. You become powerful because you finally understand what is within your control and what is not. Other people's opinions are not yours to control. Their judgments are not yours to control. Their reactions are not yours to control. Their praise is not yours to control, but your character is yours. Your choices are yours, your discipline is yours, your response is yours. This is the foundation of Stoicism. A Stoic does not wake up asking, "How can I make everyone like me?" A Stoic asks, "Am I living according to my principles?" That single question can change your entire life. When you stop seeking approval, you stop performing for an invisible audience. You no longer need everyone to understand your decisions. You no longer need constant compliments to feel valuable. You no longer collapse when someone criticizes you. You begin to develop something far more powerful than popularity, self-respect. And self-respect is different from ego. Ego says, "Everyone should admire me." Self-respect says, "I know who I am and I don't need everyone to approve of me." That is Stoic strength. Imagine walking into a room and realizing you don't have to impress anyone. You can speak without desperately seeking validation. You can say no without feeling guilty. You can walk away from disrespect without creating a scene. You can work quietly without announcing every achievement. You can fail without believing that failure makes you worthless. And most importantly, you can succeed without needing applause. This is what happens when you stop seeking approval. Your energy comes back to you. Instead of spending hours wondering what people think about you, you start asking what you think about your own actions. Instead of chasing attention, you build competence. Instead of chasing praise, you build character. Instead of trying to look powerful, you actually become powerful. The Stoics understood that external validation is unstable. Today, someone may praise you. Tomorrow, the same person may criticize you. If your confidence depends on their opinion, your emotional state will rise and fall with theirs. But when your confidence comes from your principles, something changes. You become harder to manipulate, harder to intimidate, harder to control. You become emotionally independent. And that is one of the greatest forms of power Stoicism can give you. Stop seeking approval, start seeking alignment with your values. Because the strongest person in the room is not always the loudest person. Sometimes it is the person who quietly knows, "I don't need you to approve of me. I need to respect the person I am becoming." That is where real Stoic power begins. Stop letting other people's opinions control you. There is a hidden prison that millions of people live inside every single day. It has no walls, there are no locks, and yet it controls almost everything they do. That prison is the need for approval. You wake up and wonder what people think of you. You make a decision and immediately imagine how others will react. You accomplish something and secretly hope someone notices. Someone criticizes you and suddenly your entire mood changes. Someone ignores you and you start questioning your worth. Someone praises you and you feel powerful again. Do you see the problem? Your emotional state is being controlled by people who may not even be thinking about you. This is exactly what Stoicism teaches you to escape. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control whether they respect you. You cannot control whether they understand your choices. You cannot control whether they like your personality. You cannot control whether they approve of your lifestyle. So why surrender your peace to something you cannot control? The Stoic approach is simple but difficult. Control what belongs to you, release what does not. Your actions belong to you. Your attitude belongs to you. Your discipline belongs to you. Your response belongs to you. Your principles belong to you. But someone else's opinion, that belongs to them. And once you understand this, you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Imagine someone criticizing you. Your first instinct may be to defend yourself. You want to explain everything. You want them to understand your intentions. You want them to admit that they were wrong. But sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Not because you are weak, because you understand that you don't need to win every argument, you don't need to convince everyone, you don't need to prove your worth to someone committed to misunderstanding you. That is Stoicism in action. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly reminded himself to focus on his own character rather than the behavior and opinions of others. Epictetus taught that our judgments and responses are within our control, while external events are not. This distinction gives you freedom. When you stop seeking approval, you become less reactive. Someone insults you, you pause. Someone rejects you, you continue. Someone misunderstands you, you don't panic. Someone leaves you, you don't beg them to stay. Someone doubts you, you keep working. Someone refuses to recognize your value, you don't spend your life trying to convince them. This doesn't mean criticism should always be ignored. A wise person listens. If the criticism is true, learn from it. If it is useful, improve. If it comes from someone you trust, consider it seriously. But if the criticism exists only to provoke you, you don't have to emotionally participate. You can listen without surrendering your identity. That is the difference between emotional maturity and emotional dependence. People who constantly seek approval are often afraid of disappointing others. But you cannot live a meaningful life if your greatest goal is to avoid disappointing everyone. At some point, you will have to disappoint someone. You will have to say no, you will have to choose your priorities, you will have to walk away, you will have to make decisions that others don't understand. And when that moment comes, remember this: you are not responsible for managing everyone's opinion of you. Your responsibility is to manage yourself, build your character, keep your promises, control your impulses, do your work, treat people with dignity, stand by your principles, and let the opinions of others remain where they belong with them. Because when you stop seeking approval, something extraordinary happens. You stop asking, "Do they like me?" And you start asking, "Do I respect the person I am becoming?" That question is far more important. And once you start living by it, your life becomes quieter, stronger, and much harder for other people to control. Become so secure that you don't need to be chosen. Here is where everything changes. The ultimate goal is not to become someone who doesn't care about people. The goal is to become someone who doesn't need people to validate their existence. That is a completely different level of strength. When you stop seeking approval, you stop begging the world to tell you that you are enough. You already know what you stand for. You already know what you are working toward. You already know the kind of person you are trying to become. And because of that, rejection becomes information, not destruction. Someone doesn't choose you, you keep moving. Someone doesn't appreciate your effort, you continue improving. Someone doesn't recognize your value, you don't chase them for recognition. Someone walks away, you don't abandon yourself just to make them stay. This is one of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism. Never trade your self-respect for acceptance. Think about how much energy people waste trying to be chosen. They change their personality. They hide their opinions. They tolerate disrespect. They say yes when they want to say no. They pretend to enjoy things they hate. They constantly compare themselves with others. They seek likes, compliments, attention, and validation. And slowly, without realizing it, they become strangers to themselves. Stoicism gives you another path. Instead of asking, "How can I make people approve of me?" ask, "How can I become worthy of my own respect?" That question changes everything, because you can control whether you are honest. You can control whether you keep your word. You can control whether you act with courage. You can control whether you remain disciplined when nobody is watching. You can control whether you respond intelligently instead of emotionally. You can control whether you continue working when nobody applauds. And that is where real confidence comes from. Not from being admired, not from being popular, not from being constantly praised. Confidence comes from evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build confidence. Every time you resist an impulse, you build confidence. Every time you stand up for your values, you build confidence. Every time you walk away from something that violates your principles, you build confidence. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you build confidence. Eventually, you no longer need to announce your strength. People can feel it. You become calmer. You speak less but mean more. You don't rush to defend yourself. You don't compete for attention. You don't need to prove that you're important. You don't chase people who don't value you. You don't become desperate when someone rejects you. You understand something most people spend years learning. Being rejected does not mean being worthless. Sometimes rejection simply means that something wasn't meant for you. And Stoicism teaches you to accept reality instead of demanding that reality match your desires. You wanted someone to stay, they left, accept it. You wanted everyone to understand you, they didn't, accept it. You wanted recognition, nobody noticed, accept it. You wanted success immediately, it didn't happen, accept it. Acceptance does not mean surrender. It means you stop wasting energy fighting reality and start using that energy to control your response. That is true Stoic power. So from today forward, stop asking the world for permission to be yourself. Stop seeking approval from people who have not earned the right to define your worth. Stop measuring your life through someone else's reaction. Build quietly, improve quietly, work quietly. Let your character speak louder than your explanations. And remember this: the moment you stop needing everyone to approve of you, you become free to become who you were meant to be. You become powerful when you stop seeking approval, not because everyone finally accepts you, but because you no longer need them to. That is freedom. That is self-mastery. That is Stoicism.